And we should be live. I'm gonna wait for a bit until people start joining in, then we can get started. Oh, turn this down. I have another monitor, so I can better keep track of how the stream is doing. Let me just let everyone know my server that I'm live, then we can get started. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. All right. I'm going to wait until we start getting some people in chat so I know that I'm not streaming by myself. All right. Toughalicious. Hi, Kinoflex. What's up? Yeah, again, I'm just gonna wait until we start getting some people. Let's say around 10. Oh, you can't hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys let me know if you guys can hear me. There is a bit of a stream delay, so let me so just keep that in mind if I seem quiet. Okay, you can hear me. That's good. That's good. So I am the only guy here so far. That's fine. I'm just gonna wait till people start joining. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I have a few hours to kill, so I decide to give my thoughts on the new Lanterns trailer. Since everyone else is talking about it. Okay. Let's see. Well, I guess I could get started. Uh, my goal for this live stream is to cut it down eventually. I'm going to give my reaction to the trailer along with some other thoughts I have about it, some reactions I've seen to it, and I know, like I know it's not 5:50 a.m. But it just sets it up that way. But yeah, I'm going to cut down the stream and like in post and just give my edit it down a bit so I can give like a make a video out of it. But like the trailer for Lanterns has dropped and nobody seems happy about it, or at least that's the majority consensus is that it looks like shit from what I've seen. And yeah, I mean, I'm part of that group, unfortunately. I am not really ecstatic about it. And I'm going to explain why. But before I give my reason or my reasoning, before I give my reasoning as to why I think the trailer is shit, I want to clarify a few things. First, I understand. First, I understand that the trailer is not the show, and I am fully prepared to praise the show if it blows me away once it releases in August. That being said, Trailers are supposed to build up your expectations to make you want to see what is being marketed. It invites natural speculation about it. And even though I am going to watch it when it comes out and give a fair and more accurate assessment, the trailer clearly did not accomplish what it set out to do because I am not excited to see it in the slightest. Second, this show has been described as True Detective both superheroes, which a lot of people are pissed off about because they wanted something on the level of Star Trek, since the most well known and well regarded Green Lantern stories are space operas. Jeff Johns' run, Jeff Johns' run, which includes Green Lantern Rebirth, the Sinestro Corps War, and Blackest Night, are specifically pointed to as the creative peak for this character, and I happen to have that opinion as well. We can all agree that the original 2010 Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds it sucks. It's bad. No argument there. But have you ever asked the question of why Green Lantern, of all characters, was given the opportunity to have a film made about him out of all the other characters? Besides, like Superman and Batman were popular enough. Oh, hold on. Superman and Batman were popular enough to have movies made about them because they were so popular. But Green Lantern was given a movie about him because his works, Jeff Johns' run was so good. It was so popular, like it was like a cash cow for DC at the time. It was that good, and they wanted. It was so good that they thought that they could make a franchise out of Green Lantern. But unfortunately, the film sucked, and the character and it flopped. So now I think because of that, that is a primary reason as to why Green Lantern fell out of mainstream appeal to a degree. You can blame that film. You can blame the 2010 Ryan Reynolds film for uh for what has happened to the degradation to the to Green Lantern falling out of favor in the mainstream. Yeah, let's see. But getting back to the True Detective comparisons. Uh I don't A lot of people are saying you can't have a Green Lantern story without it being a space opera. I don't necessarily have that opinion because even though I agree that the best Green Lantern stories are space operas. So this is obviously so I don't know if you guys can see my screen, but this is what most people like who are fans of Green Lantern like expect. Intergalactic fights between different corps, like the Red Lanterns, the Sinestro Corps, the Star Sapphires, Larfleeze, or Agent Orange, etc. But this is something you can't just get immediately. You can't just drop us into. It's something that needs to be gradually built up to. So you can have a down to earth, like or literally a down to earth story, where everything is more grounded, to to build up to us getting to this degree. And I think that would be fine, honestly. And if you know the character's history, you know that Green Lantern, like Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner, like all these guys are from Earth. So it's not it's not as if though they don't spend any time on Earth at all, because they clearly do. And they have their own unique rogues gallery that are humans that they fight regularly. Like right off the top of my head, you have Sonar. That's one. You have the Tattooed Man. You have, let's see, Doctor Light, though he's more associated with He's more associated with the Teen Titans, but he was originally a Green Lantern villain. You have the Shark, not King Shark. That's a completely different character. The Shark is more so a think Gorilla Grodd, but he's a shark with mental powers. Let's see, who else do you have? Oh yeah, Goldface. Like he has like a really that he was originally a Hal Jordan villain, but he became more associated with Guy Gardner. There's Effigy, but he's more so a Kyle Rayner villain. And how can you forget Hector Hammond? He was in the 2010 film, but I would say they completely wasted him. They completely squandered him as a character. But yeah, like the problem isn't inherently the fact that they're trying to go for a more grounded, like true detective type story with this first season. All I ask is that's good. But that being said, like the question I then have to ask is what season of True Detective are we talking about? Because for those of you unaware, True Detective is an anthology show. There are four seasons, but none of them, all four of them, despite being within the police thriller genre, they are they're wildly different from each other and differ in quality to a significant degree. I would say season one is is like a master class in television writing. It's as far as television shows go, that is what I would consider to be the closest thing to a one season masterpiece. It's that good. However, the other following seasons, season two, season three, season four, do not reach that same level. Now, you can say that they aren't bad per se, but if you like season one, you're not necessarily going to enjoy those other seasons, especially season four, which I personally found to be garbage. I found it to be complete shit. So the fact that you're hiding behind an IP to describe a show that doesn't involve any of the writers involved on what made the original show that everyone loves so great, I'm going to be skeptical. I'm going to ask why even make that comparison when you can't promise you're going that you're going to deliver on a show of that same quality. But with that being said, I'm going to just get into the Lanterns trailer. Now that I've clarified everything. But again, if you're just joining the stream, I understand that the teaser, the trailer, is not the show itself, but that does not mean you can't like give your honest thoughts, initial thoughts on the trailer. This is like insanely dishonest. It's insanely dishonest that you can't have an opinion on a trailer. I don't understand that. But with that being said, let me shrink myself down. And yeah, let's get started. Also, apologies if I'm not paying too much attention to the chat, but yeah. All right, so let's get started.
With all due respect, we've been training for what, 2 months? And I haven't even worn the ring yet.
Okay, so he hasn't even worn the ring yet. So already as like a fan, that's kind of a problem because in the comics, like the ring, well, obviously the Guardians have the final say and who or who does and who doesn't get the ring. But the idea that you were chosen, but you don't have a ring of your own and you're not instantly you're not instantly associated, you haven't already been trained to an extent by the Green Lantern Corps themselves. That raises some red flags, or at least makes me ask some questions of why why isn't he as experienced yet? Because like you get trained, like you do, like Kilowog trained Hal Jordan uh when he first got the ring, when he first got his ring from Abin Sur. So I don't understand what yeah, I'm just confused.
Don't get hung up on the jewelry, Junior. You're just a fucking substitute teacher.
Okay, so I understand. Like I've seen people say that Jon Stewart's actor isn't really like he's not meeting their expectations. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't see Hal Jordan in this portrayal, especially with his goofy ass voice. Like, do you really think? Does any fan of Green Lantern think like he's an old Southern boy like this, like how this guy's portraying him? I don't think so. I never associate that with the character.
Don't get hung up on the jewelry, Junior. You're just a fucking substitute teacher. You're not ready to get up in front of the class until the ring says you are. All right.
So look, I like this. Just is again, this just seems stupid to me. Why are you doing stuff like this, like to train him, like out in the open? Like, what if there are passerbys? What if there are civilians? Look like a like who happen to be here, and like I'm assuming John Stewart survives this by using the ring. But do you think anyone? I don't know. It's just weird to me how like this is his training regiment for John Stewart. Like you're really going to waste a car? Like cars cost money, and like you're really banking on the fact that that John is quick enough to get the ring on and survive this. Like there are much less dangerous methods to train him. Like with the other Green Lantern Corps members, uh, th- there's less of a risk of being discovered. There's less of a risk in getting killed because I imagine that if John Stewart does die here, he's going Hal Jordan, like Hal is going to face consequences for that. So yeah, like from what we're shown in this trailer, like this just seems stupid.
I could have died.
You want me to train you? I'm training you.
Like, see again, like why train him like this specifically? You could go, you could train him off world with other Green Lanterns, and like where he's in less danger, and there would be no issue.
Something is off here. I can feel it.
Yeah, look at all these. It's an all white crowd, so you know it's an all white Southern crowd, so you know that there's something evil, some evil is afoot. If it were because if it were diverse, then it would be good. You know something's up.
This is my town. You're a big shot. Noted. But stay the fuck out of my way.
This is another aspect of the trailer that I'm just like, what are we doing here? Is this a superhero show or is this a Paramount Plus show? Like originally, a lot of people were saying that this gives it off CW vibes. I would say it gives more of Yellowstone, like something you'd find on Paramount Plus, like Yellowstone or like some cowboy style like Western show. And I find that to be kind of funny considering Paramount has bought out Warner Brothers. So I'm kind of wondering like Like, did they predict that Paramount was going to buy them out and not Netflix? I don't know, kind of interesting thing to consider.
Out of my way.
Think she hates your guts.
It's the way she hates him.
This is a stupid plan.
Not that stupid.
That I don't doubt. The Green Lantern.
Again, this is a part of the trailer everyone is shitting on, and rightfully so, because how are you going to make a show about the Green Lantern and have his suit look like this? That's not even getting into the fact that he has a physical suit, which is stupid because you can make you can make the suit out of a construct from your ring, from the power ring. Why do you have a physical suit? And I we'll get to this later, but some people are being really stupid about this, saying, "Well, originally he had a physical suit in the comics, so apparently you don't know what you're doing. You don't know anything about the character." Okay, well, that was retcon later, because having a physical, it was understood that having a physical suit was fucking stupid because you can just have a suit, you can just put on your suit instantaneously with your ring, with the power ring, making a physical suit redundant. So what are you doing? So what are we doing here? And also, like again, like I can't get over the color scheme here. Like, uh, this is supposed to be the Green Lantern, not the brown shitter. I mean, come on, guys, what are we doing here?
His oath is to protect people. And we both know I do a better job of this than you.
So this is another aspect of the trailer that has pissed me and a lot of other people off, which is Jon Stewart's characterization. Uh, Most people, if we're being completely honest, know Jon Stewart from the Justice League cartoon, where he acts nothing like this. He is not a hothead. He is, if anything, he's more cool-headed. He's more cool-headed. He is not a hothead. Like, he's not arrogant. Uh, but the go-to defense that people are making is that, well, that's part of his character arc. Originally he was like this in the 70s. And while that is true, you also have to acknowledge that he was like, as a character, he was very lame. He was very like, if that were how Jon Stewart like was nobody would like him. The entire reason he became like he was so unlikable that he had to go undergo like a very transformative arc so that he wouldn't be like that because he was so unlikable. Uh and look, like in the 70s, like this is something that needs to be said. Hal Jordan is probably, like, as a character, is probably one of the most mishandled characters in a lot of people like to say Peter Parker, which is a good example because he does get cucked from his girlfriend MJ, and a lot of his stories feel like misery porn because the writers have to have forced drama into his life because they can't let him be happy for whatever reason. They can't allow him to be happy at any moment so he can to build up to have like stupid like artificial suspense or drama, right? But instead of getting cut like getting cucked out of his girlfriend, instead of a superhero getting cucked out of his girlfriend, imagine a superhero getting cucked out of being a superhero. Imagine a superhero getting cucked out of being a superhero, like his superhero identity, because that's what happened to Hal Jordan. Uh, like he was at a certain point, he just became a supervillain out of the blue. like that. He became Parallax. There was no real build up to it. There was no. It was completely out of character for him, and he was just like, "Hell yeah, I'm evil now. Deal with it." And no one liked that. No, none of the fans like that. The only reason people tolerate it now is because Jeff Johns made one of the best, retcons in history, where he said, actually, Parallax is an entity that possessed Hal Jordan, and that's why he's so out of character, which is a genius thing, which was a genius decision, completely genius, because that creative decision, that retcon single-handedly saved his character, and why he even has a fan base now. But like the same reason people and like appreciate Jon Stewart and Guy Gardner, even Guy Gardner as characters, is because there were retcons to their characters. Originally, Jon Stewart was a token black guy, like who was just supposed to be a mouthpiece for the '70s writers, Neil Adams, and what was his other name? Shit, hold on. Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. Like a lot of people glaze those stories for what they accomplished, but what they accomplished was pretty shit, if we're being completely honest. Because the reason they're praised so much is because they threw in real life issues, like social issues, into the Green Lantern comics. Uh, and I would say they weren't really executed very well, if I'm being completely honest, because the majority of those stories where there's social commentary, Hal Jordan was completely mischaracterized into being a conservative strawman who only exists to be shit on and to be educated by more enlightened liberal characters like Jon Stewart and Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, who said, "Fuck you, Hal Jordan. You're just a racist conservative chud who can't get with it. You're not you're not down with our struggle. You're not down with the common man like we are." And if you think I'm exaggerating, in his very first appearance, when the Guardians of the Universe uh you like handpicked John Stewart after to be the new substitute Green Lantern of the new substitute Green Lantern after Guy Gardner was injured. The minute Hal Jordan questioned their decision, they immediately accused him of being racist. They said, "We don't have time for your bigoted perspective, Hal Jordan." That's how little that's how little the writers valued Hal Jordan. Like he was just they treated him like an asshole. He was just so severely mishandled. And I'm not even getting into like other controversies, like a certain fling he had with a certain underage character. I'm not going to touch that. I'm not touching that. But if you're an actual Green Lantern fan, you will acknowledge that the character arguably peaked creatively with Jeff Johns, his run in the early 2000s, with Green Lantern Rebirth onwards to with the Sinestro Corps War and Blackest Night. And the same goes for Jon Stewart. This character was at his peak, like became a much better character when after he stopped being who he was initially. So seeing him be an asshole, like seeing the show take this direction instead of just going with the, oh, he's a stoic no nonsense kind of guy. He's not like an arrogant jackass. Like that's concerning to me. Yeah, so but I've been ranting for too long. Let's get back to it. But wait, actually, before I start, like this is another thing people don't understand. Guy Gardner was also retconned, and I'm going to like I love Guy Gardner. I love the appeal of his character. He's an asshole who tries to be a superhero. A lot of people would say like a lot of people would prefer like other heroes, but from a character standpoint, like conceptually, I like that idea. I like that idea of the character. But he wasn't like that. That him becoming that was a retcon. Originally, he was just like a vanilla, like a normal guy until he suffered a, a brain injury that turned him into an asshole, and that was a good decision. That made him it made him 10 times more interesting, and that's what I love about the character. If that retcon had not occurred, then I would not care about Guy Gardner as a character. Same for Jon Stewart. Same for Hal Jordan. If these retcons weren't made, I probably wouldn't care about any of these characters, if I'm being completely honest. And that's perfectly fine because not all com like not all comic like characters' histories have stories that appeal to everyone. Not all of them are good. So it's perfectly fine to differentiate between which one to differentiate between certain types of stories. But the problem uh, a lot of Green Lantern fans like myself have here is that you're willfully going like it seems that you're willfully taking like the shitty stories that nobody likes, nobody wants to see adapted. And that's really frustrating.
This is my job. As long as I'm alive, that ain't changing. So take a deep breath, Junior.
You're old. You're tired.
What is this, bro? Like, what is this? Like, do you see this? Where's the green? Okay, he has the ring on, but where is the green? What? How is he flying if without like a green? You're seriously telling me that you can't add like a green glow around him to show that he's using the ring? Come on, come on, man.
Your time is up.
Okay, so I see a lot of people saying.
Your time is up.
So I see a lot of people saying, how could he say this to Hal Jordan? How can he say this to him? Well, I think it's kept vague on purpose. To be fair, he might not be. This might be a fake out. He might be talking to someone else. He might be talking to like some old asshole in the town. But if he is talking to Hal Jordan, I would say that's a really shitty like. I would say that's a completely shitty approach to the show because this is one like the Green Lantern like title is one of the most unnecessary it's completely unnecessary to have replacements because it is entirely possible to have multiple human Green Lanterns at the same time and not have one retire. Like Guy Gardner is like on the you can have like one on the Justice League, Guy Gardner. You can have one spending time you can have a couple spending time on the Green Lantern Corps, like dedicating their time to to space missions. And you can have like just other like another Green Lantern on Earth protecting it from alien threats or just being being a like stopping crime. It is completely unnecessary to force one to retire so that another Green Lantern can have a ring. So there's apparently there's only one ring, in the show, and I don't understand that. I don't understand that because even in the comics, the substitute Green Lantern has his own ring. Like even the substitute Green Lanterns are allowed to have their own ring. So what is the logic here? Why make this creative decision in particular?
I don't understand. Who are you exactly?
Hal Jordan, Green Lantern.
So the question I have is this guy Hal Jordan is talking to an alien? Because if he isn't and he's just some random guy, why are you revealing your secret identity to people, to normal people? Do you just not value it whatsoever? Is that the approach we're taking? You don't have like you're just completely open about the fact that you're a superhero. Like that gets into a whole other can of worms that is just that that you can get into, but it's just oh my god, man. Hunter Iggy, did you see my comment? No, I didn't. Let me see. In the beginning of Hal Jordan comic book run, did not have the green aura. Yeah, and look, see, this is why I said this is not every comic continu like not every comic run is going to have is going to have this, right? But past a certain point, like certain aspects of the character become accepted. Like in his initial appearances, Batman killed people. He killed people, and that didn't violate his later like that didn't violate his no kill code because that he didn't necessarily have that at the time. But now that he does, you have to retcon that. You have to you can't that becomes you can't have both. It becomes impossible to have both. So you have to pick one over the other.
Have you ever talked with the other lanterns?
I'm the only human. They're aliens. One of them's a fucking squirrel.
So again, this is another problem I have. Like this is a Hal Jordan approaching retirement. If this were a young upstart, like cocky Hal Jordan, who gradually learns to accept that his Green Lantern Corps brethren are his brothers in arms and that they're his family, that'd be one thing. But this is an old Hal Jordan. This is an old Hal Jordan. Like again, the premise of the show is that he's approaching retirement. He's going to retire from being Green Lantern. So what the fuck is this? His best like Kilowog, who is consistently portrayed as being one of his best friends, he doesn't like he has nothing in common with him. And it's not like he can't it's not like they can't talk with each other. Like the power ring is a universal translator. They can talk to each other. Like what is this? To me this is more evidence rather than John Stewart saying you're old, you're out of you're like your time is done, old man. Like it's shit like that. This to me makes me think more that this is the direction they're going to take, where John Stewart is the straight man who is the displays actual heroic qualities, and he's just lecturing how he's just going to spend the show lecturing how much of a bad person he is and how bad of a superhero he is, and that he's not going to perpetuate his fragile toxic masculinity or whatever. It's so lame. So lame. Yeah, so that's the trailer for Lanterns. Not again, not a fan, not a fan. Uh, on YouTube, it seems to be getting a positive reception, but anywhere else, people have problems with it. This is another thing. Like I'm looking at the comments right now. No Country for Old Lanterns, so it's referencing No Country for Old Men. Where in that trailer, where in that trailer gives off the impression that this is going to be anything like No Country for Old Men? Because we just saw the trailer for that. So let's watch the trailer for No Country for Old Men real quick.
Let me ask you something. What's the most you ever lost in a coin toss?
Look, I need to know what.
Yeah. So it starts out with the most iconic scene from the film. The most iconic scene. That's what it starts out with. Do you really think the trailer for Lanterns did that? Do you really think it showed like the most iconic scene the show has to offer from the start?
I stand to win.
Everything. Just call it friendo.
Willin, what's in the satchel?
Full of money?
He's just a guy who happened to find that money.
I got a bad feeling, Llewellyn.
Well, it's a mess, ain't it, Sheriff?
If it ain't, it'll do till the mess gets here.
I'm looking for Llewellyn Moss.
You go up to his trailer.
Yes.
Do you want to leave a message?
Yes.
If I don't come back, you tell Mother I love her.
Your mother's dead.
Well, then I'll tell her myself.
Got a loose cannon here.
You think this boy Moss has got any notion of the sorts that are hunting him?
I don't know, he ought to. He's seen the same things I've seen, and it certainly made an impression on me.
Just how dangerous is it?
Compared to what? The bubonic plague?
The crime you see now, it's hard to even take its measure. It's just all-out war.
You can't stop what's coming. Is this guy supposed to be the ultimate badass?
You don't understand.
Call it. Call it.
Yeah, so that's the trailer for No Country for Old Men. And if we're comparing it to Lanterns, like you're really telling me that we can't like say which is the better trailer? Like with No Country for Old Men, it's pretty straightforward. You get everything. It shows you what it's about. It's a game of cat and mouse a guy between Josh Brolin's character who takes a bunch of money and he gets hunted down by Anton Chigurh, and then Tommy Lee Jones' character is also in the mix, as well as Woody Harrelson's character. So you're going to wonder how this event is going to play out. What did we actually? And there's going to be action. It shows that there's going to be action. What did we get here with this trailer? What did Lanterns communicate at all? It's going to be. It's supposed to be a show about superheroes. Granted, at the ground level, but there's very little superpowers. There's very little like actual. There's very little that they showed of actual super heroics. It just feels it feels very tonally confused. And There's a reason for that, right? Now we're gonna move on to we're gonna move on to talking about some tweets I found on Twitter because I think they're relevant. So Corduroy, the Cardinal Art says, comics gotta be the only medium where an adaptation can completely ignore the basest traits of a character and people will act like the fans are the crazy ones for being irritated about it. LOL. Hal Jordan doesn't talk to aliens? Sure, bro. Give me Odysseus who's afraid of boats. And yeah, like the comments you respond to is 98% of comic book fans are functionally illiterate when engaging with any form of art that isn't their subject. That's why all they want in their adaptations is reference slop so they can just point to at the screen. That's not what I want. As a Green Lantern fan, that's not what I want. I just want something that resembles what you're adapting. I like what is the problem with that? It's like what this person says. Why is that anticipation a problem? Why is that expectation inherently a problem? You're trying to appeal to me specifically as a fan of this character. So am I not expected to want to see something from like that's expected with this character? Unreal. But yeah, that's one. All the people who have never read a comic in their life smugly declaring that Lanterns is definitely going to be good because all those loser comic book nerds already hate it. When it's like, even if even if you take away the electric of adaptation, it looks painfully generic. And if you think that this sounds like a straw man, keep in mind, like electric, like oh yeah, so the all correct, I didn't mean electric, but whatever. Element, yeah, sorry. But if it sounds like a straw man, keep in mind, people actually talk like this. Hold on. This guy. I don't know what you all expected, but I thought the Lanterns trailer looked really good. An actual TV series with complex characters, a real mystery, and actual tension. So yeah, so things not associated. I guess the implication here is that superhero stories or comic book stories can't have those things. This is what it looks like when you add superheroes into a real TV show, rather than make a superhero TV show. Yeah, so what that other commenter said, what that other person tweeted out was just like correct. Like this is a guy who knows absolutely nothing about the source material, yet is making dismissive claims about it. It's so frustrating. Yeah. DC fans are allergic to their projects trying to be critically acclaimed, just addicted to straight slop. Trying to be critically acclaimed, yeah, that's a problem. It's Emmy bait created by the guy who makes professional Eisner bait, and this isn't a yeah. So this is a good point. But I think it's like the fact that this person says trying to be critically acclaimed, as if what's being adapted wasn't already critically acclaimed. Because look at Jeff Johns. Okay, so Jeff Johns, the guy, the comic book writer whose runs I was mentioning before. Okay, da, 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 da. His critically acclaimed work includes Sinestro Corps War, Blackest Night, Infinite Crisis, Throne of Atlantis, Flashpoint, Doomsday Clock, Superman Last Son, and Superman Brainiac. What are these? Like, so, what are these? You're telling me that these aren't critically acclaimed? You, I mean, it literally says critically acclaimed. So, what is the what like these people just don't DC fans are allergic to their projects trying to be critically acclaimed when they are literally critically acclaimed. I'm just at a loss for words because like have you seen what is a more like is there a more perfect example of a tourist than people making shit saying shit like this? But let's see. Here's another good one. The Green Lanterns have to earn the green. Supergirl is going to learn to be happy and kind. Okay, is Aquaman going to learn swim? You guys sound stupid. Again, yeah, that's another great point. Why do we need to, if you're going to present us, if you're just going to drop us into a character, to a character at while they're a superhero, why is it a why is it a big ask to ask that they act like the superhero that they're supposed to be? Back in the day, if you did a TV show called Surf Dracula, you'd see that fool surfing every week in new adventures. But in the streaming era, the entire first season gotta be a long ass flashback to how he got the surfboard until you finally get to see him surf for 5 minutes in the finale. Exactly. Exactly. Like I don't understand why people don't are not understanding this. You're promising your audience a certain audience something with your adaptation, and you're not delivering. You're just giving us filler to get. You're giving us filler uh to like extend your show or story, preventing us which prevents us from giving us what we want. Remember all of those people remember Madam Web when people complained about how the characters weren't in costume, like they love the costumes of the characters, but you only saw them towards the end. Are all of those criticisms invalid now, because because people want to defend this slop like lanterns? Like, where's the consistency here? Okay, it's always wait until the show comes out before you complain, but like many covers of many books, a trailer is supposed to make you want to watch it. Yeah, and this is another great point. If you're going to uh, if you're going to bitch about people having skepticism towards a show based on the trailer, and say, "Hey, this doesn't really appeal to me so far," that are you holding that same energy for people who have nothing but mindless praise about the show and saying that it's going to be peak fiction when it's not even out yet? Do you have that same standard? Because if you don't, then I'm sorry, but you're just being a blatant hypocrite. Like look at like High Top Alex. This is someone who is this is someone who I would consider to be a blatant hypocrite. I love the teaser. I don't care if they never wear the costumes. I'm sure they will in the decade of movies Jon Stewart will appear in. So this is really funny, considering people in the prize replies are have pointed out that he originally said this: Green Lantern has such film potential. Green Lantern has such film potential. Get James Gunn to direct. Make Guy Gardner the lead. Do it, Warner Brothers. You could use the entire spectrum of lanterns. Make it a colorful, emotional, poppy space romp. So yeah, why should anyone take your opinion seriously when this is what you were saying years prior? You're such a hypocrite, man. Just a gun glazer. That trailer looked grayer than any MCU movie in recent memory, and just boring as hell from a cinematic perspective, but you hold that against countless MCU projects. Yeah, another good point. The entire appeal of James Gunn's DCU, his this new cinematic universe, is that it's not going to be like the MCU. It's going to be an alternative. It's not going to be hell. It's going to not be the Snyderverse, where it's just drab and gray and gritty and and supposed to be like gritty and real and like over reliant on realism, despite no one really asking for realism. Yet when we get exactly that with this trailer, everyone's just like, Yeah, just disregard everything I said previously. Come on, man. And this is another big thing. This is another big thing. So this is Damon Lindelof, the guy, the showrunner. This is what he has to say about the show.
So, you just announced a Green Lantern show. It's called Lanterns because we all agreed that the green was stupid. So,
Right.
So now it's just lanterns.
So, Green Lantern, Lantern, the Lantern.
So you can make anything you can imagine. That if you have this, if you have this magical ring,
Right.
Yes.
And the fights are still close?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Like, bro, like, what is it? How can you look at this as anything other than like just flat out disdain for the source material? If you hate it so much, if you don't see any value in it, why sign on for the project other than the paycheck? Like, if you don't respect it, like, is it really that much of an ask to hire people who respect the source material and can do a good job with it? Look, the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie is obviously shit. No question, no debate. But if even they like honor, like do a better job of trying, like even if they have a more authentic, like a genuine, like a desire to adapt what they were to adapt the source material, I would say that highlights a major problem. It's a huge red flag. Yeah, and this is another thing pointing out, like for people saying that it's going to be good no matter what. This is the same guy who did the Watchmen show, that shitty Watchmen show, where Doctor Manhattan turned himself black for whatever reason, uh, so he could so he could appease his girlfriend. Like what? Like look at this Squidward, bro. Literally looks like Squidward. Like what is this? But I also don't really like believe. Another reason I don't really believe in this. Oh, it's goofy. It sounds stupid. This is the Watchmen show.
The fuck? Hey! Please!
Yeah, remember having green, like including the color green and Green Lantern is stupid, but having a guy, having a guy like cover himself in lube, like to and escaping through like a sewer drain. That's not stupid. That's not stupid. That's not that's not goofy. That's not silly. Give me a break, man. Give me a break. Uh, let's see. Almost finished. I just want to address a couple other tweets, then maybe some of the chatters. But yeah. So this is what I was talking about before. What's Hal's suit doing on a hanger? That's not right. Are you sure? So this is stupid for a number of reasons. And the quote tweets kind of did a good job of pointing this out. Notice how it's green here. So, uh, y'all would not be acting like this if they randomly decided Peter Parker was named Peter Palmer in the next Spider-Man film. We know him as Peter Palmer, but the world knows him only as Spider-Man. This panel is from Hal's first appearance in 1959, mind you. Yeah, rule of cool always wins out. Yeah, and here's an example of what I was saying before of how you can, like, the ring can literally make a suit for you, which removes the need to have a physical one. And also, like, this to me should just end this entire stupid fucking resort to cope. Batman was originally a murderer. End of discussion. Like, if you're going to say, like, if you're going to, like, how can you say that, like, this is consistent with his, like, just because something happened in the past means that it's consistent with how the character's written now? That is nonsensical. That is completely nonsensical. Like, anyone who could tell you about this, hold on. $10 super chat from Lancelot2099. You know, for some charity, he might have found some Green Lantern silly as an emphasis to their light source rather than them being guiding influence. But that ignores why the colors are important. Exactly. The color spectrum matters in the like in the universe of like it according to the mythos of Green Lantern. The green represents willpower. Pink represents love. Yellow represents fear. Red represents rage. Orange represents avarice or greed. Blue represents hope. Indigo represents passion or compassion. Indigo is probably the most confusing one, admittedly, because it's been given the least focus. But yeah, there is an in-universe reason as to why those are the case, why the colors are the way that they are. But when it comes to like appealing to past comics, like as though like there haven't been heavy retcons, like I think that's just completely completely disingenuous. And to me, that just tells me that you're the tourist here. You're a fake fan that you just Googled to try and defend the show, like as a gut reaction. That's the impression I get. Big J Shook says, always enjoy this genre of fanboy posting. This is a new version that sucks, guys. They changed it from something you like to something that sucks. So that's why it makes sense for this new version to suck. Frankly, you're stupid for not getting it. I mean, yeah, like what else is there to say? Uh, even though I'm of the opinion that you can have a down to earth Green Lantern show, you can still have like that doesn't eliminate the need, the expectation to have the characters uh this like act like Green Lantern or like use the powers associated with Green Lantern. Plus, I feel as though you don't even need to have tens of millions of dollars to use this to accomplish this, right? Star Trek, like many iterations of Star Trek, like displayed themselves, were able to portray the time period like an advanced technology far into the future, and they didn't need like I would they didn't need like the same amount of budget as I would assume this show would need. You can, if you're creative and you use your imagination, then you can make it work. Your faith becoming the jaded old man whose only purpose is to teach the younger protagonist its way is truly a fate worse than irrelevancy. Yeah, like it really it this like the sentiment can't isn't even simply isn't simply something that can be said for superhero stories. Look at Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny. Uh, Indiana Jones goes from like a happy like a happy uh adventurer to jaded old man whose only purpose is to teach the younger protagonist like throughout the movie. Like he says he accepts dying, and the only reason he lives in the end is because the protagonist knows better. The younger protagonist knows better and saves his ass and drags him back to the present day. That's a terrible that what a terrible way of what a terrible way giving us of giving a satisfying continuation of this character that's consistent with how they were before. And again, you can have both you can have an elderly Green Lantern teaching like an older Green Lantern, a veteran Green Lantern teaching a younger recruit without having to replace him, without making him redundant, without replacing him. Anyone who says otherwise just doesn't have an imagination. Like they are very limited in what they can they're very limited in what they think the possibilities are. Uh, okay. They're old Rangers. They've been at this a long time. Their suits have been subjected to earth, sunlight, dirt, grime, morphin grid energy, and otherworldly atmospheres for a few decades. Of course it looks faded, worn, and grimy. Come on, people. Use your head. Yeah, so this is the Power Rangers, like the joke being that them being color they aren't allowed like they can't they are allowed to not be colorful because you can give a bullshit excuse like, oh, they're super old, their suits are jaded. Yeah. Uh yeah, that's it's as far as the tweets go, that's everything I want to discuss, but I think I'll end on this, like an article I found. Because there are good and bad criticisms you can make about even though there are good criticisms you can make about the trailer, I do think that there are bad criticisms you can make too. And this is just disappointing. Green Lantern artist calls Lantern star Aaron Pierre a bleh in trailer review. So the article is discussing Ethan Van Sciver, who I assume a good number of you already know. Like he was the artist on uh, during Jeff Johns' run for a number of the issues, for a number of the stories, and he did admittedly he played a key part in like reinventing, like bringing back Hal Jordan and re putting like revitalizing the Green Lantern franchise. So he should be seen as an authority on this. But that being said, what he has to say is just completely stupid. Is just completely stupid, and he just undermines exactly what he said. He just his okay. At one point, Ethan Van Sciver was one of the most prolific artists working in the comic book medium, garnering acclaim for his work on the likes of Green Lantern Rebirth, Batman Superman, and several X-Men titles. Over the years, however, Van Sciver's opinions and vitriolic rants led to a massive decline in his popularity, and he has once again stirred up controversy online. Van Sciver has previously referred to Superman's Guy Gardner design as atrociously stupid looking and a humiliation, and has now shared his take on the recent trailer for Lanterns. Again, like I don't see that. I would say that Guy Gardner is one of the few aspect is like an aspect I enjoyed about the movie. I liked him in it, and has now shared his take on the recent trailer for Lanterns while using a homophobic slur to describe a main cast member. During a stream, Van Sciver calls Jon Stewart actor Aaron Pierre a blah blah and a homosexual. Thanks for the clarification, Ethan. Before adding that it's real creepy to hear him talk. Understandably, this has resulted in a lot of backlash, with many fans tagging James Gunn and calling for Van Sciver to be fired. The thing is, he hasn't worked for DC Comics since 2018, when he was sent packing for sharing similar views. Even so, Van Sciver's comments could obviously lead him in hot water, depending on who is made aware of them. Yeah, so for those of you that don't know who Van Sciver is, like he is mostly known for Comicsgate, where he is working on uh his own independent comic books. But after a while, he is a good. I would say that he is a good artist. Like his talent should be acknowledged. But work, like is it should be noted that working on his comic, his comic is very it should be set with a grain of salt because his backers, a common complaint among his backers is that he has taken way too long to put out to put out results given the amount of money that has been given to him already. And he he has spent a lot more time going after other successful indie comic artists who have actually been able to build businesses from their success, like Eric July, which I think is completely childish. But again, he like Ethan Van Sciver is, whether you like it or not, is a core part of Green Lantern history. He played a role in making him a great in delivering uh the character at his peak. So his opinion, he does have like he is an authority. He can bring up valid criticisms. He can bring up he can like his opinion has value. Like it has more value than others. But what does he choose to do? He chooses to he chooses to be childish like this. He chooses to say, this guy sounds like a homosexual. This guy sounds gay. What the fuck? And I find it kind of ironic considering there are detractors for Ethan Van Sciver who who constantly bring up this rumor that he's gay, that he's a throat goat, uh, allegedly a throat goat. Yet he takes offense at people bringing up that rumor. He doesn't view it as a joke. He acknowledges that uh that it's childish, it's immature for them to be saying that. Yet he has no problem throwing those exact insults at other people. So if you don't, like, this is my mentality, right? Like, treat others how you want to be treated. If you don't want to be treated a certain way, if you don't want to be called a throat goat based on a rumor, that's fine. Like, I'll respect that. I won't call you, I won't do that. But you can't go around and call other people's you can't just make fun of people for being gay, or call them, you use vitriolic language like this and expect people to honor your wishes. You can't do that. You can't do that. It just makes you a hypocrite. But even that, like, again, this is going to be, and the reason I'm raising awareness to this is because, again, there are this is going to be used to invalidate any criticism towards lanterns. He's going to be used as a strong Ethan Van Sciver is going to be used as a straw man for people's actual criticisms. And I'll give this guy credit. I'll give the guy who wrote this credit. He is not one of those people that uses this to say, "Oh, every criticism towards the trailer is invalid. They're just racist and homophobes." No, because he doesn't do that. He says, because he makes it clear, there have also been some valid complaints about the teaser, and a resurfaced clip of producer Damon Lindelof's appearance on the Love It or Leave It podcast has only added more fuel to the fire. In the clip, John Lovett suggested that the green was dropped from the show's title because we all agreed that it was stupid. Lindelof plays along, but they are both clearly joking around here. Again, joking. Well, you can tell a joke and also be serious. Like, you can mean something by the joke. So it's just Just not a good look from Ethan Van Sciver. But yeah, I guess now since I got through everything, I can start going through some comments. But what did you guys think about the trailer? Did you like it? Do you think the hate is overhyped or what? Because I have a few I have some time to kill. I can talk with you guys for a bit. Any questions? Trailer was mediocre. I agree. Again, like the show could be good. That doesn't change the fact that it doesn't really bring out the intended effect of making people wanting to see it. Maybe I can scroll up to see some past comments. Yeah, thank you again, Lancelot 2099 for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate it. I hope to be pleasantly surprised. I just don't have hope. Yeah, again, like I hope to be pleasantly surprised too. I do think that uh you could tell a good story involving the Green Lanterns uh on a, on Earth, specifically on Earth. Uh and they're most likely going to deal with an alien threat of some kind. But the problem I have is that are you just going to have are they are they going to be acting as Green Lanterns, or uh are they going to be allowed to be superheroes throughout the show, or are they just going to be like are they just going to act as detectives the entire time? Because that's not the appeal of the Green Lantern. Like they're supposed to be space cops. They're supposed to be getting into action. It doesn't really resemble the actual color scheme. Yeah, I'll give it a couple episodes and I'll check it out. But I'm disappointed, and yeah, that's my takeaway. Yeah, the Penguin show was actually good. The Penguin show was actually good. That's why I'm holding out some hope. I'm not just outright disregarding it. But it should be stated, it should be clarified that James Gunn didn't necessarily have the same level of creative control, uh, or necessarily play a hand in that in the same way that he does these shows. Yeah. But all right. If there's anything else you guys want me to talk about, let me know. Let me know now, or else I'll call the stream quits for now. Yeah, I would say that the Green Lantern animated show still holds up for what it is. Yeah. But if you're interested in getting into Green Lantern comics, I would say start with Jeff Johns' run because it not only like obviously he has pre-established history that's going to be confusing, that may be confusing at first, but I would say it nonetheless serves as a great introduction for the character, especially considering it reclarifies, it fixes a lot of problems with the character before. Yeah. But all right, let's see. Kino, will you review the One Piece live action? Probably not. I'm not really invested enough to give like to dedicate an entire review. Maybe I'll do a live stream, like I'll have a live stream where I have a bunch of other people on to discuss it. I do like One Piece. I think that would be a fun topic. I think that would be a fun live stream topic. But in terms of like scripted videos, I don't really want to do that. But yeah, I gotta get going, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you think about the trailer in the comments, whether or not you think the show will still be good. But I'm gonna peace out. Later.